in the Hebrew.
Shalom, Israel. We're the Isupk out of 1 West, 25th Street in New York. Commanding General Yohana, person officer card, person officer. All right, and today we're going to do what the Lord has ordained us to do from time immemorial, where we give, you understand, we follow the orders. You understand, the Most High laid down for us, which is to keep the Sabbath day. You understand, and we are doing this today as an example. So that all blacks, all Hispanics, all Native Indians, you understand that we have a culture. And we are a people who are full of glory, who is full of laws, statutes, and commandments. We as Isupk and the commanding general has been show and prove that these are righteous laws. You understand, that help govern the blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. And that we said, my generation is stand. So, La Yashtala, which means to Israel. So, so imagine when you down with your right hand facing east, south, which means to turn. You say Lord's Prayer in the heat. Abanawa, Shabashamaya, Dash, Ya, Shimkash, Yahawa, Kabaha, Zaka, Ya, Isha, Maratisa, Kawa, Ya, Shmaya, Ton, Now, Ka, Yawam, Slapna, now, one, above, shine, yon, right, yeah, Ka, Malaka, Barak, come on. Our Father, Jot in heaven, hallowed be thy name, how, kingdom come, be done, as in heaven, give us this day, daily bread, forgive us sins, our debts, forgive our debtors, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Yahweh, Hashem, Shah, Lao, Aka, Mal, War, Aka, sorry, Aka, Matthew, Aka, Irakawan, Garashan, our Shah, Tomarama, Lord, in the name of Yahushua, please give us a power, or the heat, all manner of sickness, all manner of disease, or the cleanser, or the reason, or against the clean spirit, cast them out, in the name of Yahushua, thank you, so be it. Bless Israel, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, now, Yas, Barak, Hashem, Yahushua, Tawarama, in the ancient Lord, in the name of Yahushua, bless us, and Israel, and the school, in the name of Yahushua, thank you, so be it. Say Psalm 121 in the Hebrew. Ashar, Ayanya, Aldarim, Ayon, Yamaha, Izari, Ansari, Yom, How, Shah, Yom, Aratis, Elton, Awat, Gal, Alien, Shamarka, Na, Yakawam, Mala'a, Yashon, Rama, Yashala, How, Shamarka, How, Zal, Idea, Yam, Amam, Samash, Kalka, Ara, Yal, How, Shamarka, Kala, Shama, Anas, How, Shama, Saat, Kata, Ayi, Aliam.
In English, it said, I will lift up my eyes.
I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. Whence cometh my help? My help
coming from the Lord.
coming from the Lord.
Which
Made heaven and earth.
do not suffer thy foot to be
Not
moved.
suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee,
That keepeth thee,
not slumber.
not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
keepeth Israel.
that keepeth Israel,
That slumber no sleep.
neither slumber nor
Lord
sleep.
is thy keeper.
Lord is thy
Lord is
keeper.
thy shield.
Lord is thy shield.
Upon thy right hand.
Upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite
The
thee by
sun
day,
shall not smite thee by
nor
day,
the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Lord shall preserve thee.
Lord shall preserve
From all
thee
evil.
from all evil.
Shall preserve thy soul.
Shall preserve thy
Lord
soul.
shall preserve thy going out.
Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in.
This time forth.
From this time forth,
Even
and even forevermore.
in the tree. In the Hebrew. Alahayim.
Alahayim,
Al-Damayalaka.
Al-Dalmaka,
Al-Takarak.
Al-Farak,
Al-Shapa.
Al-Kampa,
Al-Kayamana.
Anana,
Wayamaka.
Yamnaka,
Amayawa.
Yamawa,
Wamanashani. Wamana.
Wamana,
Shanayaka.
Shanaka,
Shawarash.
Sharash,
Ayamaka.
Islandaka,
Ira.
the Ira,
Yapa.
Yawa,
Sawada.
Sawada,
My height is a
the
one.
Aitazo,
Height is a one.
Aitazo, one
Maru.
Maro,
Lakawa.
Karo,
Wanakakadam.
Kadam,
Magawi.
Dari,
Malaha.
Ah,
Yazaka.
Isaka,
Shamia Shana.
Sama Shara,
Aywa.
Yawa,
Ya.
Ya,
Our height is a
the
one.
Aitazo,
Lapa.
Wa,
Yakaru.
Karo,
Ayaka.
Ayaka,
Arya.
Aya,
Yakarafa.
Rak,
Ahali.
Hali,
Adewa.
Wam,
Wayashamai.
Shemai,
Alayim.
Yam,
Our Abba.
Awab,
Wahagabrain.
Alright,
The Ba.
Ba,
I'm the one.
Animam,
I'm a lot.
Hamala,
I'm a shot.
Shah,
I'm a shot.
Iron Shah,
That's a ball.
that's a war,
Gam Ashu.
Yamashu,
Alawa.
Alawa,
I'm a.
Mam,
Ayawa.
Ayawa,
Zarawa.
Hawaii,
Bani Lama.
Mani Lawa,
Salat.
Salah,
Aishalama.
Shalom,
Mani.
Maria,
Sayasara.
Sarah,
Ayabi.
Yabia,
Manaka.
Alaka,
Yashu.
Washu,
Ashumarwa.
Shamaru,
Wayahan.
Yan,
Ara.
Ara,
Ayawa.
Wa,
Daman.
Taman,
Adam.
Dam,
Shayatam.
Shayam Tamwa,
Dayam.
Rata Mawa,
Ayra.
Ra,
Wakazanaba.
Mapasiya,
Wakazaba.
Ba,
Waka.
Ka,
Kazamanai.
Sanai,
Kama Sayakama.
Stamma,
Shah.
Shah,
Amaru.
Amarwa,
Nayarasha.
Arash,
Banaba.
Awa,
Ah. Nawa.
Awa,
Alahai.
Alahaya,
Alahai.
Alahaya,
Shayatam.
Shalom Tamwa,
Galgal.
Alkata,
Wash.
Wash,
Natanya.
Hani,
Rawaka.
Ka,
Ash.
Abash,
Ira.
Ira,
Ira.
Ira,
Kalahaba.
Raba,
Alahat.
Ah,
Ariam.
Yom,
Kantaradapa.
Rata Madam,
Saraika.
Saraika,
Wasa.
Sa,
Pasta.
Pasta,
Mahalo.
Ah,
Alaha.
Alaha,
Aniham.
Walaman,
Walaman.
One,
Wayapakwash.
Wash,
Ka.
Shamka,
Lahawa.
Yahawa,
Wayapakwash.
Wakash,
Wayapahalo.
Walai,
Ai.
Ayai,
Kaparu.
Walakam,
Wayabalu.
Babu,
Yadayu.
Dai,
Yasa.
Da,
Ka.
Shamka,
Yahawa.
Yahawa,
Barka.
Barka,
Ayo.
Ayo,
Alkaha.
Alta,
Aratis.
Aratis.
In the English, Psalm 83. Keep not the silence,
Keep not of silence, O
and
Lord,
hold not thy
and
peace.
hold not thy peace.
Be not still, O
Be
God,
not still, O Lord,
for lo,
for lo,
thy enemies leave it
Leave
tomorrow.
it tomorrow.
And he that hate
He that hate thee,
lifted up the head,
instead of them,
taking crafty
that
counsel,
he craft counsels against thy people,
and consulted
and consulted
against thy enemies.
against thy
They have
enemies.
said,
They have said,
Come,
Come,
let us cut them
let
off.
us cut them off.
Be a nation,
Be a nation.
name of
The
Israel,
name of Israel.
no more
No
remembrance.
more remember.
They have consulted
They
together,
have consulted together.
one consent,
One consent.
conspired
And
against,
confederate against
because of Edom,
and so you
and
and the
Israel,
Ishmaelites,
of Moab,
Moab,
and
and
Hagarim,
Habreeds,
Baal,
Baal,
and
and
Ammon,
Amalek,
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
Philistine, the
Philistines,
inhabitants of Tyre,
inhabitants of Tyre, Syria,
also joined with them,
also joined with them.
Pulpit,
They are both by
children of Lot,
children of Lot, Salah,
went to them,
one to them,
went to the
and
Midianites,
to the Midianites,
Syria,
and to Syria,
to Japheth,
and to Jabin,
broke up his son,
book of the sun,
Persia,
the Persian end,
came out down for
he
you,
gave us down for the youth,
they get nobles,
their nobles,
like Horeb,
Horeb,
like Zeb,
Zeb,
Yea, all their
all their
princes,
princes,
and Zebah,
Zabah,
Azalun,
Salud,
who said,
said,
let's take yourself,
also,
the house of
the
God,
house of the Most
in
High,
possession. Oh my God,
oh my God,
even like a weed,
even like a weed,
as the stubble before
as
the
the
wind,
stubble before the wind,
fire the little wood,
fire from the
and the flame,
the plague.
Seven mountains of
Seven
fire.
mountains on fire.
So persecuted. Their tempest. Became afraid. Like storm.
Storm.
Fill their face with
Fill their
shame.
faces with shame.
They seek thy name.
Seek thy name.
Let them be confounded.
Confounded.
Trouble forever.
Trouble forever.
Yea. Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
And perish.
And perish.
And men may know.
And men may know.
Thou.
And thou.
Name alone is Yahweh.
Name alone is Yahweh.
Most High.
The Most High. All the earth.
We'll say ISUPK curses. Blessed be Yahweh.
Blessed Yahweh.
King of heaven and
Heaven
earth.
and earth.
All things living.
All things living.
Yahweh. In the name of
In the name
Yahweh.
of Yahweh.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Evil and
Evil
curses
and curses.
and punishment and destruction
Punishment and
to
destruction.
the heathen
To the heathen.
that speak against
Speak
us,
against
thy
us.
prophets,
Thy prophets.
the teachers,
Teachers.
the princes,
The princes.
the priests,
Priests.
Israelite
Brothers
brothers,
like brothers.
and the school,
And
the evils and curses,
evil and curses.
and punishment and
Punishment
destruction
and
to
destruction.
the heathen,
To the heathen.
shake loose,
Shake loose.
treasure,
Treasure.
which of Israel,
Which of Israel.
refused to give to the
Refuse to give to the
was
sword.
their riches,
Was their riches.
return to thy sacrifice,
Return to thy sanctuary.
evil and curses,
Evil and
and
curses.
punishment and destruction
Punishment and
to the
destruction.
Edomites, and
Edomites.
the nation,
And the nation.
and their drug
And
dealers,
the drug
the
dealers.
court system,
Courts.
the prison system,
The prison system.
Planned Parenthood,
Planned Parenthood.
all of the winds of
All the
our
governments of it.
Catholic Church,
Catholic
the
Church.
Pope,
Pope.
Islam,
Islam.
Christianity,
Christianity.
intelligence,
Intelligence.
militia,
Militia.
Ku Klux Klan,
Klux Klan.
Aryan,
Aryan Nation. Skinheads.
Kuwatazi,
Kuwatazi.
gay,
Gay.
lesbian,
Lesbian.
spy,
Spy.
because of witchcraft,
Because of witchcraft.
assassination,
Program.
army,
Army.
navy,
Navy.
air force, Greece,
Wall Street. Wall Street.
of the internet,
Of the internet.
and the enemy,
And the
civil access channel,
channel.
and the religion,
And the religion.
the spirit,
Break the spirit.
any of that people
Many of that
that seek to stop us,
seek to stop us.
pursue destruction,
Flip
or
destruction.
the planet.
Or the planet.
So, convict the spirits
And convict the
of
spirits.
any of that
Many
people
of that
that seek to stop
seek
us,
to stop
bring
us.
destruction,
Swift
all the
destruction.
heathen,
All the heathen.
stand in the way,
Stand in the
try
way.
to stop us,
Try to stop us.
cast in the woods,
Casting
throw
the
the plant food,
Throw the planet.
let loose all the plagues,
All the plagues.
to go through
All
and
the
through,
go through and through the earth.
and consume
And
them.
consume them.
Let the
Let the
plagues
plagues.
shake the house of the
The house
thieves,
of the thief.
and the bird,
And the murder.
like Yahweh,
Thou shalt.
Micah,
Micah.
Gabriel,
Gabriel.
down with the flying
Come down with
saucer,
the flying saucer.
punish all the heathen,
Punish all the
come
evil.
up against us,
Come up against us.
speak thy words,
Speak thy word.
to be known by all,
Known my own.
angels that have
The
done,
angels that have done.
for to be spread through the media,
Spread through the
to
media.
the whole world,
The whole world.
for them to shake at it,
The shake
the
and
name of Yahweh.
name of your
Thank
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
Psalm 22. Shall which means to be seated.
This one. That's 1903. 1903. 20 and 40. It was 1903. All right, continuing the reading in the Hebrew. Reading from the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 3. Ayasha, Amawa, wa Abba, Yawa, Thaya, Ra'awa, wa Atha, Shabbat, Thaya, Thasha, Marawa, Anaya, Yahweh, Allah, Hayakama, Allah, Tapa, Nawa, Allah, Allah, Yalam, wa Allah, Haya, Masai, Kaha, La'a, the I Shawa, Lakam,
Anaya, Yahweh, Allah, Hayakam, Wakaya, the I, Bakawa, I Baka, Salah, Mayam, La, Yahweh, La Rataza, Nakam, the I, Baka, Bakawa, Bayawama, Aiba, Kakma, Yaakala, Wama, Maka, Ratha, Wahana, Wathapa, Aida, Yawam, Hasha, Layan, Waya, Baasha, Yasha, Rapa, Wa'ama, Ha'akala, Ya'akala, Bayawama, Hasha, Laya, Shaya, Paga, Wala, Hawa, La'a, Yarataza, Wa'a, Kalayawa, Aiwa, Nawa, Yasha, Kaya, Atha, Hodasha, Yahawa, Kala, Kalal, Wana, Karatha, Hana, Pasha, Hawa, Ma'ai, Maya, Waba, Kwa, Taza, Rakam, Atha, Kwataza, Yara, Arataza, Kama, La'a, Taka, Laha, Pa'atha, Shadda, Shadaka, Lakwatazara, Wala, Patha, Kwataza, Yaraka, Allah, Thala, Patha, Waka, Rama, Kala, the I, Wala, Wapatha, Karamaka, La'a, Talakwa, La'ainaya, Wala, Gara, the I, Ara, Athama, Anaya, Yahweh, La'a, Hayakma, La'a, Taka, Nabawa, Wala'a, Taka, Kashawa, Wala'a, Tasha, Parawa, Ayasha, Ba'ai, Mayathawa, Wala'a, Tasha, Ba'aiwa, Bashamaya, Lasha, Para, Waka, La, Latha, Atha, Shama, Alaha, Yaka, Anaya, Yahawa, La'a, Ta'ai, Shakwa, Atha, Ra'aika, Wala'a, Taga, Aila, La'a, Tala, Yana, Pa'ai, Latha, Shaka, Yara, Athaka, Aida, Bapara, La'a, Thakwa, La, Karasha, Walapa, Naya, Iwara, La'a, Thana, Maka, Shala, Waya, Ra'atha, Ma'ala, Hayaka, Anaya, Yahweh. End of the reading, Leviticus chapter 19, verses 3 to 14. 7. It also do something to catch up to me.
Oh, no.
Yes, okay. 3 to 11 volts was from. Oh, all right, understand. Okay. So, right, continuing reading in the English from the book of Leviticus, chapter 3, to verse 10. That's not it's like Leviticus. Leviticus 1.
19 and 3.
19 and 3. Book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 3. Continuing reading the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 3. Ye shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbaths. I am the Most High your power. Turn ye not unto idols, nor make to yourselves molten gods. I am the Most High your power. And if ye offer a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Most High, ye shall offer it at your own will. It shall be eaten the same day ye offer it, and on the morrow. And if it ought remain until the 3rd day, it shall be burnt in the fire. And if it be eaten at all on the 3rd day, it is abominable. It shall not be accepted. Therefore, everyone that eateth it shall bear his iniquity, because he hath profaned the holy thing of the Most High, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field, neither shalt thou gather the gleanings of thy harvest. Right, the end of the reading, book of Leviticus, chapter 19, from 3 to 9.
So you see where, again, in the book of Leviticus, it gives us a very good breakdown of the structure that the Most High wanted to lay down for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Because when you look at all these different things here, you could see a pattern. And this pattern was something that would be used to create a culture for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and how we're supposed to operate. Because having a culture is just basically rules that our people follow, and that becomes the norm for where they are. So, for example, somebody might have a rule of when you come into in my house, take out your shoes, and that goes on through this family, through this generation, and keeps going. And after a while, it becomes a custom that it no longer had to think about it. It's natural that whenever you're coming into somebody's house, in society, in a particular demographic, that they have to take out your shoes before you come in the house. Or there were reasons for that, so that they wouldn't bring dirt or filth or anything coming into the house. They want to keep the house clean. And that becomes part of the culture of a people. So that was just like one example of it. And when you go through and you look at the structure of how the Most High laid down the rules and the laws for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you'll get to understand that this was nothing simple. You understand? This is something that was exceptional, and that this brought us something that's different from all the other nations. Because these nations used to practice things that was not clean. You understand? And it's laid out. And if you watch what the Most High tell us to do, is exactly the opposite of what these other nations will do. Right? And sometimes it looks insignificant, but when you look at the gravity of it, you will get to understand. Right? And when you look at, let me just say in verse 5, right? It says, and if ye offer a sacrifice of peace offering unto the Lord, ye shall offer it at your own will. It shall be eaten the same day ye offer it, and on the morrow. And if aught remain until the 3rd day, it shall be burnt by fire. Right? Or burnt in the fire. Now, this is not just by chance. You have to understand the science behind it. A lot of people don't understand that these are the things that when you cook certain food, or you cook meat, right, it have a shelf life. You understand? And if it goes beyond a particular time period, the decay of that will start to happen. And then that will bring what diseases, right? Because the very next verse says, and if it be eaten at all on the 3rd day, it is abominable, right? It shall not be accepted. Therefore, everyone that eateth it shall bear his iniquity. Is what? The iniquity is what? That punishment, right? Which you would get with it, because when you eat spoiled food, you understand, or something that's rotten, you understand, you could get sickness and disease. You doing that at your own risk, and you have to bear that iniquity, that punishment that you get. You understand? But this is something that when you take time and get to understand our culture and our people, you get to understand these were not just any kind of rules. These were written down and put it to guide us as a people. Slovakia.
Nah, well, basically, yeah, can. Yeah, what you're saying is quite right. There's a the scriptures ground as we're reading every Sabbath.
Yeah.
Reading the laws of the Most High, right? And the scriptures make it to understand that the law is for the lawless.
That's right.
Right? So this is supposed to be pretty easy to understand, but due to religion and Christianity, just hearing the words might bring the wrong concept into your mind. So the law is for those that don't have the law. Right? So we know the law is for the nation of Israel, that this become a culture. When this become a culture to us, then they don't need the law, because it's just the way that you operate, right? Civilized as a civil human being. That is why we talk about the oppressor so much, right? Because the oppressor does not have the law. And when you don't have the law, you will not be civilized. You're going to be a beast.
Right.
All right? So the law is for the lawless. Those that have the law, right, is going to teach those that don't, those that have the law, going to teach those that don't have the law. That is the reason why we are here, right? We are given the law because we have the law, and we've given these laws to the lawless, so that when the law is given to the lawless, now it becomes a culture, right? And once it becomes a culture, then there's no need for the law, because then you don't have to tell a man, hey, you don't have to go kill your brother, right? Or don't sell drugs to your neighbor, because now it's a part of our lifestyle on the earth, right? That's basically how it looks.
So we can continue.
Come on. Right, continuing reading from the book of Leviticus, chapter 3 and verse 10. Waka, Ramaka, La'a, Ta'ai, Wala. Wapa, Ratha, Karamaka, La'a, Tala, Pata, La'ai Naya, Walagara, Ta'ai, Aiba, Athama, Anaya, Yahweh, Allah, Haya, Kama, La'a, Taga, Nabawa, Wala, Wala'a, Taka, Kashawa, Wala'a, Tasha, Parawa, Ayasha, Ba'ai, Mashathawa, Wala'a, Tasha, Ba'aiwa, Basha, Maya, Lasha, Para, Waka, La Latha, Atha, Shema, Allah, Hayaka, Anaya, Yahweh, La'a, Ta'ai Shakwa, Atha, Ra'aika, Wala'a, Taga, Aila, La'a, Tala, Yana, and I, Latha, Shaka, Yara, Athaka, Aida, Bakwara, La'a, Taqwa, La, Karasha, Walapa, Naya, Iwara, La'a, Thana, Maka, Shala, Waya, Ra'atha, Ma'a, Lahayata, Anaya, Yahweh, La'a, Ta'aishawa, Aiwala, Bama, Shapatha, La'a, Tasha'a, Panaya, Dala, Wala'a, Taha, Dara, Panaya, Gada, Wala, Bataza, Dakwa, Tasha, Pantha, Tama, Yathaka, La'atha, La'a, Thalaka, Rakwa, Raka, Yala, Ba'ai, Mayaka, La'a, Ta'ai, Mada, Aila, Dama, Ra'aika, Anaya, Yahawa. At the end of the reading in the Hebrew, in the English, continuing the reading, the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 10. Thou shalt not glean thy vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape in thy vineyard. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger. I am the Most High, your power. Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another. And ye shall not swear by my name falsely, neither shalt thou profane the name of the Most High. I am the Most High. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shall fear thy power. I am the Most High. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Most High. End of the reading in the English.
So we see that once more. Nobody can refute that this Bible and these scriptures is not righteous. You can't refute this. No matter how you could look at it, say, well, it's the Old Testament and you're not the new law, it has nothing you can refute in these scriptures. Right? This actually went direct with the Christian saying that you know that the laws are done away with. As if the law was bad. You understand? So they give the impression that you know this was oppressive. What is oppressive of this? What make this here, what we now read, oppressive? Why is this so hard to follow and what's so easy now to follow? If this was hard, don't steal from your brother, don't lie, don't be a tailor, don't be a stumbling block to the blind, don't curse the deaf. You understand? Why was that hard for you to do? If this was hard for you to do, well then, in Christianity, what make it so easy? I would really like to know. Because if this here was hard, well, I really want to know what Christianity has. And frankly, there is nothing in Christianity. It's actually, it's harder, it's worse. It goes against all this that we read in here, which is Christianity. Christianity goes against the scriptures and against the laws of God. You understand? But when you read about all this, you're talking about leaving stuff for the poor. You understand? So you're not a greedy female dog. You understand? You're not greedy that you will take away, you understand, food from the widow and the poor. Don't hoard everything for yourself, like how the so-called oppressor, so-called white man. The man is rich with everything and leave nothing behind for nobody because he doesn't care. You understand? He's talking about not defrauding your brothers, not lying and stealing from them. What could be more righteous than this? Tell me if I follow this, if I am committing sin. Salaki, I don't feel that anything.
The way you're saying it so right, that spirit of the oppressor and spirit of the white man is like sometimes you have to ask yourself, what really old about the Old Testament? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, until it really getting funny. What really old about the Old Testament? All right. So when you're reading down, just as I mentioned, the scripture saying in Leviticus 19 and 10, right? Not to glean the corners of your vineyard. So you have a vineyard, you will leave out the corners of the field so the poor can come and, they will put in some work too, that harvest, that pick. what it is they leave in the corners of the field, so they also can eat. So you're showing mercy, you're showing compassion, and so forth. And as I say, what all about the Old Testament is like today. I remember long ago, right? You're having these big companies selling all type of snacks, right? Like sunshine snacks and the whole long list. And when they start again, and during that time now, you still had, you know, moms and auntie and them on the side, they were selling sweet bread, right? They're selling little nuts cake and stuff like that. Now, the spirit of the oppressor is so strong that these major mass producing companies are making billions of dollars. They know what to do. They come now and they take the sweet bread away from Tanti. They take away the nuts cake. They want to take away everything that the average person, right, is in a position to still make us a hustle, to still make an investment and, you know, and sell something and make a turnover. They're taking that from you too, right? It have the average person used to be having a little food badge. They're selling food. Now the major companies, Massey and so forth, they take it. So now the sales of food for the average person on the side of the road almost coming non-existent. So now it's more pressure on the poor because now they're gleaning the corners of the field. They're not leaving anything for the so-called black man, native Indian man, and Hispanic man to survive. Because now they have all conglomerates, right, in a big industry and take everything away from the average person. So now until they're not in a position to survive, right? They're talking about the other laws, not stealing. What all about the Old Testament, right? Not to deal falsely with a neighbor, not to lie on one another. These is laws to make us civilized. Because as much as you might think highly of yourself, when you have your brother, regardless what the situation might be, a confrontation or for whatever the case might be, and you lie on him, it's showing you want people to think you're civilized, but you're uncivilized, right? You're following the spirit of your oppressor, right? You're talking about you're swaying against you're falsely, right? So say by the Lord name falsely, right? They're just being a Christian, right? You're talking about not to defraud your neighbor, right? Neither rob him his wages, right? Look at how we just get salaries and people working whole month to struggle, right? And they're paying you're working and they're paying you month in. Now, even when you're watching the psychological perspective, I think Lord say, when a man works for your wages, pay him daily. Give him daily wages. Give us this day our daily bread. You understand? Because now, what they're doing, when they're paying you at the end of the month, right? When they're paying you at the end of the month, they're forcing you in a position now to borrow. So when you borrow now you're going to pay interest on what you borrow because you're trying to survive through the month. So really and truly, at the end of the month, the salaries that you had worked for, you didn't work for that. Because now you have debt, right? So all these are oppressive strategies used by the oppressor, the so-called white man, right? And the nations that follow him to press against blacks, native Indians, and Hispanics, right? They talk about do not do unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the persons that are poor. So you're talking about respect our persons, right? Not the person that is mighty, but shall judge in righteous judgment. So you're talking about just as how these so-called black men go through. The people in power above us always misrepresenting us, always calling us good for nothing, cockroach, this, that, the other. We doing all the inventions, right? We participating in all the sports, we entertaining all it, and yet still, with all these things that we do, the seat that you sit in, you choose to misrepresent black people, and none of these things is going to go unpunished. That is why these laws are here, right? Because now you're misrepresenting black people continually, right? Is putting an additional form of oppression on them, right? So the Lord is going to do what needs to be done. That's all I have to say.
This one interject, but you know, the whole situation with Charlie Kirk is like a perfect example. You understand? Of the misrepresentation of black Hispanics and Native Indians, and not just him, but the society does that.
Can. You know, talk about tail bearing, right? And standing against the blood of a neighbor. So these are the things that showing that when you have the law, we're going to be a civilized people, a civilized nation, and that civility as we run the earth is going to trickle down, right? All through the earth, right? As scripture say, the hand of man is between Jacob and Esau. So once we're in power, the other nations are going to be put into subjection and they're going to follow, right? This culture, which is they're going to follow us. right? So by extension, they're going to be following the law. But the law is for the so-called blacks, Native Indians, Hispanics, because we are the ones to be the governmental unit. So these things, right, especially right now, directly pertaining to the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel to us. We get ourselves in order, we get this law, we get this government, right, with our head, Yahushai, as they say, Jesus Christ in the English, and we have this government. Everybody now is going to follow the spirit of the government. Just as how we have governments today, this is what the masses just follow. You see up in the parliament, locally in Trinidad, there's only drama, confusion, bacchanal, and a whole bunch of things that non-progressive, and that can't help the so-called black man, can't help poor people, right? And now the entire country following in that same step. Drama, bacchanal, and nothing that can help black people live from where they are. Nothing that is going to make us get our identity and our culture back. So we have to understand that we need to lock in to the ISUPK here, right? Under Commanding General Yahana, that have everything in place for the so-called blacks, Native Indians, Hispanics to rise above all the other nations or the races on the age, right? So like, yes. Yeah. Yeah, kind of.
Also, even just one more thing I want to touch on that. And I realized that is real heavy, even in going through the scriptures here, just verse 14. It says, "Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shall fear thy God. I am the Lord thy God." A lot of people could really underestimate that statement, because it's like you're cursing the deaf can't hear you. So I mean, what are the cause? The blind he can't see. You're putting something in front of time to stumble. In your mind, like that can't do nothing. But a lot of our people, you understand, do the exact same thing. They curse the deaf. They're doing and saying things to those people who are not in a position, you understand, to help themselves. And you make their life extremely hard. And those who are masters and those who have destroyed us because of that, in Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians, is our Christian pastors, our Black Christian pastors. They are the ones who are cursing the deaf and putting a stumbling block in front of the blind. Because a lot of our people suffer with a lot of issues. And they in turn add to those issues and create more problems. You understand? And destroy us even more. Lucky, I don't know if I hinted to that.
Not last.
Right? But we see how these scriptures say, as you said earlier, what wrong with this? You understand? What old about it? How you say? Or what new? Even if I say that, what all about it and what new? You understand? So okay, now we no longer follow the 10 commandments, right? No problem. That's cool. So what in the new? What in Christianity? What new? What is the new righteous thing you follow now? You understand? You can't say, because whatever you think you're doing, it's not righteous, because it's not following what the foundation of what the law laid down. Any law, anything in the New Testament has to have a foundation. It can't just be pulled from the tin. And if you tell them it have a foundation, and then you say the foundation bad, that's something wrong. It makes no sense. So those who are in Christianity saying that, okay, well, look, the laws of God are done away with, you gotta live now and live righteous. What is righteousness? What is the marker in Christianity that shows and proves that you're righteous if you are not following the law that the Most High laid down? Tell me. It had nothing else. Right? So lucky. So we can continue.
Continue reading in the Hebrew, the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 17. La'a, Tasha, Na'a, Atha, Akayak, Yaka, Bala, Babaka, Hawa, Hawaka, Thawa, Kayaka, Atha, Aima, Yathaka, Wala'a, Tasha, Ailayawa, Katha, La'a, Thakwam, Wala'a, Atha Thara, Atha Vanaya, Aimaka, Wa Aha, Watha, Lara, Aika, Kama, Mawaka, Anaya, Yahawa, Atha, Kakwathaya, Tasha, Marawa, Bahama, Taka, La'a, Thara, Bayai, Kala, Ayama, Shadaka, La'a, Tha'ai, Ra'ai, Kala, Ayama, Waba, Gada, Kala, Ayama, Sha'ai, Tana'a, La'a, Ya'aila, Aila, Yaka, Wa'a, Yasha, Kaya, Yasha, Kaba, Atha, Asha, Maka, Watha, Irai, Wahawa, Shapa, Kaha, Naka, Rapatha, La'a, Yasha, Wahapa, Daha, La'a, Napa, Datha, Awa, Kapasha, La'a, Nathana, Laha, Bakwaratha, Taha, Yaha, La'a, Yawa, Mathawa, Kaya, La'a, Kapasha, Wayabaya, Atha, Ashamawa, Layahawa, Allah, Pathaka, Ahala, Mawa, Aida, Ayala, Ashama, Waka, Para, Ailayawa, Hakahana, Ba'ayala, Ha'ashama, Lapanaya, Yahawa, Aila, Katha, Athawa, Ashara, Katha, Wanasail Laka, Lawa, Makatha, Athawa, Asha, Katha, End of the reading, Leviticus chapter 17. Reading in the English, the book of Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Most High. Ye shall keep thy statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed, neither shall a garment mingle of linen and woolen come upon thee. And whosoever lieth carnally with a woman that is a bondmaid betrothed to an husband, and not at all redeemed, nor freedom given her, she shall be scourged. Thou shalt not be put to death, because she was not free. And he shall bring his trespass offering unto the Most High, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, every man a ram for trespass offering. And the priests shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering before the Most High for his sin which he had done, and the sin which he had done shall be forgiven him. And when ye shall come into the land, and shall have planted all manner of trees for food, then ye shall count the fruit thereof as uncircumcised. 3 years shall it be uncircumcised unto you, it shall not be eaten of. All right, the end of the reading in the English.
So you see how these laws, you understand, these rules, how much growth a society can have by just following these rules here that we have. Imagine Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian culture being this. This is who we are. This is the rules that we have in our society. This is what the Most High gave us. You understand? And having this here now, this is why the Most High can say that when the other nations look at us, they will say what? What a wise and understanding people we are. Because who could dispute this? Look at these rules that are set to guide and to protect Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? Verse 17 says, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. You understand? Now, a lot of people say, well, okay, well, thou shalt not hate thy brother in your heart. Well, they'll think about it real Christian, like, like, I really hate you, boy. Nah. That hate in your heart is something different. That is that murmuring, even within yourself, and doing things and deeds, you understand, that contradict the welfare of your brother. You understand? So it's not really an outward showing per se. You understand? But it eventually shows. But it's something that grows internally and then is exposed by what? Actions that will show that you really didn't like me. If you could do me this, if you could do that, if you have something with me, and I talk about this is how the nation of Israel, this is the law we have. It's a law that given. You understand? If you have ought against your brother, what you're supposed to do? Go to him and him alone.
Okay.
I think like Matthew 18, right?
Okay.
Now, if you can't do that, because again, the other watch would start. It starts internally. Boy, feel I like what I want. Talk to me. You understand? The scriptures say, before that grow into something, I just say before that grow into hate, go to that man. Brisk as fast as they could do it. You understand? I say, Bridget, you see anybody? But the Naras talking like how we just talk among each other. I really like how they talk to me. It doesn't have to be yourself, but I like how you talk to that man because you are offended by probably how you talk to somebody else. Like that this is to tell you how dread this law is to keep the unity between Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian brethren. It don't even have to be directly you understand? But you was offended by the way that he deal with something else, with another brother, maybe another sister, the case maybe. And it's like, hey, I didn't like how you deal with this situation here. And now this brother now can be able to recollect and say, boy, yeah, but maybe I was a little off. You understand? And then at that day, you say like, oh, sorry, the scripture say you gain a brother. But when you in the back here, put on a smeagol like Lord of the Rings, you understand? Yeah, my spirits just dangling in the back of your brain. This man, boy, me like what I'm not. And that now brings what? Animosity. Brings hate. And when pride into that too, but boy, that is a big recipe. So all we need to do as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we need to really be able to take stock of ourselves. Because this is a daily battle. Daily. But the more you practice, is the easier to get in you being able to what? Go to your brother. Whenever there's this slacking.
Yeah, come on. We're saying so heavy, right? And I always like to watch this from the perspective of the oppressor, the white man, right? Because when you look at it, right?
Yeah.
When I watch a lot of people that have issues, right, or different wherever it might be. They had to look at it from this perspective too, right? It's like this person who you hate, right? Who tell you to hate that person?
Even better.
Because
Yeah.
you can generate for yourself and say, this person offended me in this way.
That's right.
So then you have to look and search within yourself, Alma. Who tell me to hate this man?
That's right.
Right? That now causing a stumbling block for me mentally and spiritually. Because let me show you how this does go a lot of times, right? Sometimes when you see have conflict, it always wise to look beyond the conflict.
That's right.
Because let me explain you know, Salakia, to what it is we're trying to bring out. Look at our oppressor. I look at a video with a Mexican brother explaining how from small he was taught, right, that black people unsafe. Don't go by them, they go do this. If you do this, they go rob you. If you go here, they go beat you. So now, psychologically, he was already primed and trained to hate his own brother. And a lot of times, even at levels from as high as the white man all the way down among in black communities, somebody trained you to hate a particular person. Sometimes people train you to hate the neighbor in the street. You don't even know why you hate that neighbor, but you don't recognize over time that people in your street don't like this neighbor for something. You don't even know the reason. But now, as you notice, as with the city youth mentality, you jump on the bandwagon trying to hate somebody that you have no idea what you hate them for, right? The person had offended you in no way. You didn't prove anything, but now psychologically, that spirit of the oppressor, right, is on the entire earth. So a lot of times we want to find ourselves in positions where we have a bitterness and a grudge, right? Right? As scripture talk about with the white man, are perpetuated, because that's what white supremacy is. From the fathers and the forefathers of the oppressor, they keep being taught perpetually to hate blacks, Native Indians, and Hispanics. And over time, a lot of times they can't tell themselves why they hate them. They have friends, there is black people around them, they laugh and having a time, but still inside of them, they have this thing that have them hating perpetually against blacks, Native Indians, and Hispanics. And that is a spirit. And that is the spirit of the white man, something that have been placed and lodged in you over time psychologically, that have you now just waiting to kill, steal, or destroy a black man as yourself. Because this have been placed into you by somebody else. And then you need to sit down and search yourself and trace back to find out where this seed was planted to be able to deal, right, with that issue and free yourself, right, from that hate that was placed in you by somebody else, right? Primarily from your oppressor, right? The devil that the Bible speaks of, right? Salakia.
That's actually extremely on point, because when you really look at how we as a society is looked at, I mean, this is an example that's always bring up when I start about some basketball players, some black basketball players went into China or Japan or one of those countries, Asian countries, to play basketball. You understand? And these people cannot speak a lick of English, but one. When these men come off the bus, go into the court, the only way these Chinese could understand English and know what to say and call us is nigger. They didn't even say monkey. You understand? Because they understand the ideology of white supremacy, as I just brought up, is so infectious. It like the air you breathe. So much so that it goes deep into the core, not just in the other nations, but even in ourselves. Because that self-hatred, as we can see it every single day. You understand? Just as they rightfully say, who teaches us to hate yourself? Who teaches us to hate your brother? That nigga, they bought. See that nigga? That 6, that 9, that this, that rasta. But who teach you that? And it's so diabolical in that the person who actually taught you that in the shadows. You understand?
Yeah.
Them is the good one.
Just as the end of
You understand? That's right. Couldn't put it any better. Because they're in the background now as the innocent one. And now this is something too that even among black families, right? It is so intricate in how it's laid down. It's so subtle. And I will bring it in the aspect of a nuclear family. You have a husband and a wife with children. Now the husband or the man might have an issue, or the woman might have an issue. They are the issues. But now you will see primarily the mother would be saying, say, Father, this, that, that, and sowing a seed of discourse or destruction. Now, if this mother, let's say the mother and father is still going away, and now the mother now is implanting subtly into these children, especially the girls, a man this, a man that, and hate this now. When this young girl grows up now, she hates men with a passion. How she hates men, she don't even know. But that seed was planted from what? From the beginning. You understand? From that situation where her mother starts to set that in emotion against her father. And overall, it will be against men. You understand? So anybody or any new person that comes into her life now, when she's older now, she already has this predisposed notion of men like this or men like that. Now it goes both ways. Because if that trait is set into a person, you understand, as young as they are, as you turn an adult, it doesn't budge. It's very difficult to change that. But I have one place where that can change. That is right here in the ISUPK under commanding general. And the reason for that, because we were in those positions once before. Hating our brothers, you understand? Hating our sisters, you understand? Not being able to understand that the so-called oppressor is the one who put that in us. And we had to be brainwashed. You understand? We're making it feel that being brainwashed is a bad thing. No. We were cleansed of that whole doctrine and ideology of white supremacy. So you really get to understand that person we hate is not the actual person we're supposed to be. You understand? The real person who hates us is the one who sowed that seed. You understand? And as the scriptures say, you understand, the Most High have certain things that he hates. And we hate what the Most High hates. And that white supremacy spirit is something that we hate. Because we understand the destruction that brings to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So, like, have you heard anything in your study scriptures?
No, at all.
All right, so we'll continue.
Come. So that somebody going on now make this thing jump. That's what one side.
So we see we did stop at
You have it there? I can borrow it for your phone at least.
yeah, so
I can.
it's about 23, yeah?
We stop at 23. Come.
So 24.
Or yours fun.
Yeah, so
By the talking, and the next thing I'll open it back up on my mind. Talking on this one, I was sorting. You,
yeah,
Trade.
like this way.
Continuing reading the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, reading from verse 24. Wabasha Naha Hara Baya Aitha Yahweh Yahaya Kala Parayawa Wadash Yala Wala Yama Laya Hawa Wabashana Haka Maya Shatha the Akalawa Atha Parayawa Lahawa Sai Yapa Lakam Tabawa Tawa Anaya Yahweh Allah, Haya, Kama, La'a, Ta'a, Kalawa. Continuing on from verse 25. Waba, Shana, Haka, Maya, Watha, Ta'a, Kalawa, Atha, Parayawa, Laha, Wasayapa, Lakama, Taba, Wa Athawa, Anaya, Yahawa, Allah, Haya, Kama, La'a, Ta'aka, Lawa, Aila, Hadama, La'a, Tana, Kashawa, Wala'a, Ta'ai, Wana, Nawa, La'a, Tapa, Taqwa, Pawa, Pa'atha, Ra'asha, Kama, Wala'a, Thasha, Kayatha, Atha, Pa'atha, Aikwanaka, Washaratha, Lana, Pasha, La'a, Tha, Thanawa, Ba, Basha, Rakama, Waka, Thabatha, Kwa'ai, La'a, Tha, Thanawa, Bakama, Anaya, Yahawa, Allah, Thaka, La'a, La'atha, Bathaka, Laha'ai, Nawatha, Wala'a, Aina, Ha'a, Rataza, Wamala, Aha, Ha'a, Rataza, Aima, Atha, Shabatha, Thaya, Tasha, Marawa, Wama, Wadashaya, Thaya, Ra'awa, Anaya, Yahawa. End of the reading in the Hebrew. Continuing in the English. The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, reading from verse 24. But in the 4th year, all the fruit thereof shall be holy to praise the Most High withal. And in the 5th year, ye shall eat of the fruit thereof, that it may yield unto you the increase thereof. I am the Most High, your power. Ye shall not eat anything with the blood, neither shall ye use enchantment or observe the times. Ye shall not wrong the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Most High, your power. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall in whoredom, and the land become full of wickedness. Ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Most High, the power. And I'll end up the reading in the English for Leviticus 19, 24 to 30.
Right. One more we could say, boy, a Christian, how you could tell me that this done away with? These laws that governs a society, that can rule and make a society righteous, how could this, you understand, be done away with? Eh? Which part I want to throw away? And if you're throwing it away, what replacing it? Tell me what replacing it. Look at these things. Look at how, you understand? Look at how all these things are laid down to help Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians community. What you can do again? But if you look at it, right, even if you jump back up a little bit, you understand? In verse, let's see, verse 25. I'll probably go up a little more, right? Verse 18. Say, thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord thy God. Paul is talking about you having or holding grudges that are not necessary, right? Mexicans don't like that one. The Black, Hispanic, Native Indians having beef among each other, because these are the things that the so-called oppressor use, you understand, to divide us. When the Mexicans have issues, you understand, we see ICE detaining all our brothers and sending them back to their different countries. So-called Black people saying, yes, see, with me have no problem with that, but they do all the thing, and they function. Them don't like me. But you have to understand, this is not just about them. Because when the tables turn now, guess what happened? They're coming in Black houses now, you understand? And raiding them and treating you the exact same way that they were treating the Mexicans. Holding you, detaining you, asking you for your ID. You understand? And when you thought you were safe. Same thing with the Native Indians. Don't feel it will happen to the Native Indians also. It will be the same thing. Because they understand they have an agenda. Now, we ain't seen them doing that to the so-called Africans. We ain't seen them doing that to the so-called Irish. We ain't seen them doing that to the so-called German and Polish, or even the Chinese. We've not seen them doing that. We've not seen them raiding all these Chinese restaurants. You understand? And detaining them and sending them back. But why? Because they understand and have an agenda. The agenda is to remove Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That is the agenda. So when you hate your own brother, not knowing that we are supposed to come together, you understand, and we are divided, it's easier to ship us out. It's easier, you understand, to destroy us. Because why? We are divided. And this is what the oppressor uses, you understand, to destroy us. Even when you look further down, all these things that he tells us not to do is what these other nations used to do. You understand? Look at verse 26. They say, ye shall not eat anything with the blood, neither shall he use enchantment, nor observe times. We all know the blood is one of the major things in any flesh that can carry diseases. You understand? When you drink blood, you are predisposing yourself to line up for some kind of disease. You understand? Whether it be through animal or otherwise. You understand? And these are the things that the Most High teach us not to do. And also, it's only because these other nations practice it, especially when we were in Egypt. You understand? That was one of the major things that they used to do across there. And he tells us not to follow that. Neither would use enchantments nor observe times. You know what I is today? That is my horoscope. I is a Pisces. I is a Taurus. I is a Libra. Them Libra people and them. All these are things that the Most High tells us not to follow. Why? I walk over here and close somebody here and take a whole panty and wrap it up in some and bury it. You understand? All these are things are what? Observing, enchantments. These things are nothing. And the reason why he tells us is not because he's afraid you double up in something and you get caught up. It's because these things are vain. They are vain. It's like I was just saying the other day, usually they would have these other groups, you would have different groups going to the beach, you understand, and they carry the different idols and the morality and the apple and the grapes and all kind of different things and showing the milk in the sea. You understand? And people pray to go there because these things, they'll get catch. You understand? We are gyre, some kind of sound. But these things are what? Vain. They are nothing. Not more than plastic. You understand? And foam. They are no gods. They have no power. And that is what the most I trying to get us to is that do not fear things that have no power in them. That is it. Plain and simple. When they bring the apple and the grapes, whatever, it's fruits. You understand? Some people afraid to go on the beach. They have flag and they plan. They didn't want to go. No, that is useless. They are vain. The practice they're doing is vain. And the most I don't want us to get caught up in doing vain things. So, like, if you that,
Now, let us.
so it's ready to continue.
John can. Continue reading the book of Leviticus, chapter 19. Reading from verse 31. Oh, Salaka.
Oh, so like, yes, one more thing before I continue. Right? Which is something that is really important that we read in this last chapter, right? Which is verse 29. He said, do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom, and the land become full of wickedness. Now, this is something that has perpetually, been a problem in Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian communities, where our oppressor, you understand, continues to sexualize our bodies, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? And they push this thing to sexualize and prostitute our daughters in the media, you understand, in all different forms. You understand? And create this stereotype and create these narratives that again come to train and brainwash Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that they can only be this kind of woman. You understand? Training our daughters so much so that we start to believe it ourselves. You understand? And then you have an entire generation, you understand, of thinking that, right, it's okay to be a sexy red. It's okay to be a Cardi B. It's okay to be these degenerative type of symbols. You understand? And this is how Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian women are supposed to be. And when that happens, as you see, the land will fall into what? Order. Because these young girls start to what? Prostitute themselves. And the Lord is telling us we should not push or promote our daughters to fall into that trap. You understand? Because it will destroy the nation. Not just destroy because they are committing order, but because of the destruction. It will just bring to the men and the violence. You understand? That comes with it. You understand? Because just was about 2-3 days ago, kill next guy from Spanish.
Yeah.
That's what we will say. So one of our Venezuelan sisters were here, you understand, and become a love triangle. And one man couldn't take it. And he went and unalived another brother because of that. You understand? And these are the things that the Most High is telling us to stay away from by not making our daughters what? Prostitutes. It's a lucky.
Can. Allah, the Pa Nawa, Allah, Abatha, wa Allah, Hiya, the I Nayama, Allah, the Ba, Poshawa, Latha, Ma'a, Bahama, Anaya, Yahawa, Allah, Haya, Kama, Mapa, Naya, Shaya, Baha, Taqwa, Wama, Wahada, Ratha, Panaya, Aikwana, Waya, Ra'atha, Ma'allah, Hayaka, Anaya, Yahawa, Athaka, Gaba, Salakia, Gara, Ba'aratza, Kama, La'a, Tawa, Nawa, Athawa, Ka'ai, Raka, Makam, Yaha, Lakama, Hagara, Atha, Kama, wa aha, Bata, Lawa, Kama, Waka, Kaya, Gara, Yama, Haya, Yathama, Ba'aratza, Mataza, Rayam, Anaya, Yahweh, Allah, Hayakma, La'a, Shawa, Iwala, Bama Shapatha, Bamada, Bama Shakwala, Waba, Mashawara, Ma'ai, Naya, Taza de Kwa, Abba Naya, Taza de Kwa, Ayapatha, Taza de Kwa, Yahayana, Tazakwa, Tazadakwa, Yaha, Lakama, Anaya, Yahweh, Allah, Hayakma, Asha, Hawataza, Atha, Thaya, Atha Kama, Ma'aratza, Mataza, Rayama, Washa, Maratha, Atha Kala, Kakwa, Thaya, Wa Atha Kala, Masha, Pathaya, Wa Aisha, Yathma, Athama, Anaya, Yahweh. At the end of the reading, in the Hebrew, in the English, the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 31. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Most High your power. Thou shalt rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of the old man and fear thy power. I am the Most High. And if a stranger sojourn with thee in our land, ye shall not vex him. But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Most High your power. Ye shall do no unrighteous thing in judgment, in mithyard, in weight, or in measure. Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have. I am the Most High your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them. I am the Most High. End of the reading in English. Yeah, you can hear from me. Just as we're reading here, right, within the scriptures, we're seeing it talking about, giving honor to your elders or to your fathers, right? In the book of Leviticus 19:32, right? It talking also here, we're talking about dealing with a stranger, right? You see, but the stranger that dwelleth with you, right? You shall be unto him as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself, right? Because we see, now you see, because when he was in Egypt, he was strangers, and what you're really talking about is like today. Look at me today, right? Like locally, right? We will have the 6, we will have the 9, in foreign we will have the Bloods, we will have the Crips, right? Because now is because of America, it is the customs of the Egyptians basically that we pick back up, right? So in Egypt, we strangers, we divided, we fighting one another. So now, when you go in that area, man asking, hey, where you from, right? What area you from? You know what I mean? What color you representing? What gang you with? And you know what I mean? Either have to go to extreme violence immediately to save your life, or hey, let's take a beating. Because now you know it's being treated as a stranger in the land where your brothers living. But the Lord telling you, hey, that shouldn't be so. As long as this person is a brother, you're going to treat him as your own. You're not going to use the division that the oppressor have placed upon us, blood scripts, Rasta, Muslim, 6-9. You're not going to use these things among one another. We're going to love with neighbors we self. So when a man down in the Southland, in the North, in the East, wherever, you treat him as a brother. You treat him as one as your own. That is what the scripture is bringing out. So it's showing that these laws within the Bible is very relevant to today. And these are the things a Christian pastor will not bring to you. He trying to bypass all this, but how the Christian pastor can bypass things like these? These is things that can save the lives of black men, right? So you being a Christian leader should be glad to bring these scriptures out to make men know in the ghetto, hey, when the next black man come up in the ghetto, he's not your enemy. You understand? Your Christian leader should be happy and hurry to spread that word. You understand? As they say, that word of love. But they spreading hate. You understand? Because they say that the laws are God done away with. So these things, right, is none and void. That is what they're trying to say. So now you're going to come up with your own laws, right, with your own rules, and that is what have gangs, right, Bloods, Crips, Rastas, Muslims, 6-9, and whatsoever, because we do have the laws of the Most High. Our laws is going to be garbage, right? They talk about unrighteous judgment. They talk about using just weights. We see the East Indians especially, right, have a culture, right, of deceit and robbery. Right, they're always tying up the foot behind them, pretending they have a limb. They're always using some kind of weight. It has something in the bottom, counterweighting it. You know, that's right. So we have to understand these customs of the heathen. The Lord don't want us to practice that. So He's telling you, all these are different type of people, right? Are honorable people, are people with class, are royal people, right? This is why I want all to display all yourself on the earth. So don't make these customs and practices, right, be developed into our nation, right, into our society, right, Salakia? Yeah, hold on, that's Salakia. All right, come, continue it. Yeah. All right, come on. I continue the reading from the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 1. Waya, the Bara, Yahweh, Allah, Masha, La Amara, wa Allah, Banaya, Yeshara Allah, the Amara, Arasha, Ayasha, Mabanaya, Yesha, Allah, Wamana, Hagara, Baya Shara Allah, Asha, Yathna, Ma'ira Iwa, Lama Laka, Mawatha, Yawamatha, Aima, Ha'a, Ratza, Yara, Gama, Hawa, Ba'aran, Wa'a Naya, Athana, Atha, Panaya, Ba'a Yasha, Hawa, Waha, Karataya, Athawa, Makwa, Rabba, Aimawa, Kaya, Ma'ai, Ra'aiwa, Nathana, Lama, Laka, Lama, Aina, Aima, Atha, Makwa, the Shaya, Walaka, La, Atha, Shama, Pada, Waya, Wa Amma, Ha'ailama, ya ai la ya mawa aima ha'a rataza atha aya naya hama mana ha'a yasha ha hawa batha thawa ma aira aiwa la shalaka la ba la thaya hamayatha athawa washama ai washa mathaya anaya atha bayaya manaya ayasha ha hawa waba masha panka thwa wahaka rataya athawa wa atha kala ha ai nayam aka rayawa la ainawa tha aka raya hamalaka makwa rabba aiman aima waha napasha aitara tapa naha Allah hakabatha wa Allah hayada ai nayam la aina tha aka rayah ma wana tha thaya atha banaya wana pansha hawa'a waha kai karathaya athawa makwa rabba aimawa wahatha kwa dashathama wahaya yathama kwada shayama kaya ainaya yahawa Allah hayakuma. End of the reading in the Hebrew. In the English, the book of Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. And I will set my face against that man, and will cut him off from among his people, because he had given of his seed unto Molech, to defile my sanctuary, and to profane my holy name. And if the people of the land do anyways hide their eyes from the man, when he giveth of his seed unto Molech, and kill him not, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and I will cut him off, and all that go a whoring after him to commit whoredom unto Molech from among their people. And if the soul of that man, Salakia, and if the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits, and after wizards, to go a whoring after him, I will even set my face against that soul, and will cut him off from among his people. Sanctify yourselves therefore, and be holy, for I am the Most High, your power. End of the reading in English.
So we see once more, the Most High given us rules to govern ourselves and to govern the environment that we're in. Understand? So that now we don't have the outside influence of these other nations coming and destroying and putting things in our community that we don't want. You understand? Verse 2 says, again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, it is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, whosoever he be of the children of Israel or of the strangers, talking about persons who may come in our community for whether that be for work, doing whatever the case may be, to sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. Right? And verse 3 says, I will set my face against that man, and will cut him off from among his people, because he had given his seed unto Molech to defile my sanctuary and to profane my holy name. Understand? And now this is just this talking about there was a practice of taking your children and sacrificing them to a god called Molech. You understand? And this was something in the biblical times that was very prevalent. There's no difference now. Like you're joining Rasta or you're joining Hinduism or joining Muslim, it's no different. So what the Most High is telling us, do not bring these other so-called groups or religions or practices into the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. It's the same as you say we want no drugs in our communities. We want no homosexuality in our community. We want no child molestation in our community. Anybody who has these type of spirits on them, they are to be destroyed. What does mean to be destroyed? They should not enter. And if you find anybody who dealing in these type of things, they should be taken out of the community. Because these things are what now come and affect and infect. You understand? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that's how we operate.
No.
Right? So we'll continue.
That's one of them.
Last week.
Continuing the reading, the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Washa, Mara, Thama, Atha, Kakwa, Thaya, Wa I, Shaya, Thama, Athama, Anaya, Yahweh, Makwa, the Shah Kama, Kaya, Ayasha, Ashara, Yakwala, Atha, Abayawa, Atha, Amawa, Mawatha, Yawa, Matha, Abayawa, Wa'a, Mawa, Pala, La, Dama, Yawa, Bawa, Wa'ayasha, Ashara, Yana, Apa, Atha, Ashta, Ayasha, Shara, Yana, Apa, Atha, Ashatha, Ra'ai, Hawa, Mawatha, Yawa, Matha, Hana, Apa, Waha, Na'apatha, Wa'ayasha, Ashara, Yasha, Kaba, Atha, Ashatha, Abayawa, Aibawatha, Abayawa, Gala, Mawatha, Yawa Mathawa, Wanaya, Hama, Dama, Yahma, Bama, Wa'ayasha, Ashara, Yashakba, Atha, Kalathawa, Mawatha, Yawa, Mathawa, Shana, Yahama, Tabala, Aishawa, Dama, Yahama, Bama, Wa Ayasha, Asha, Yashakamba, Atha, Aikara, Masha, Kabaya, Asha, Tawa Ai Baha, Aishawa, Shana, Yahama, Mawatha, Yawamatha, Yawamathawa, Dama, Yahama, Bama, Wa Ayasha, Ashara, Yakwa, Yakwaka, Atha, Asha, Wa Atha, Amah, Aimaha, Hawa'a, Ba'asha, Yasha, Rapawa, Athawa, Wa Athahana, Wala'a, Taha, Yaha, Aimaha, Aimaha, Batha, Wakakma. End of the reading in the Hebrew. In the English, continue the reading the book of Exodus, chapter 20, reading from verse 8. And ye shall keep my statutes and do them. I am the Most High, which sanctify you. For everyone that curseth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. He had cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him. And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. And the man that lieth with his father's wife hath uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion. Their blood shall be upon them. If a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Verse 14. And if a man take a wife and her mother, it is wickedness. They shall be burned with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you. And then you read in English.
So again, all these just laying down the ground rules. You understand that we are supposed to practice. Because all these things were done in Egypt and the surrounding lands. You understand? So wherever we were, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and we had our communities. These were the practices that we did not do. But these were the practices that the other nations do. Sleeping with the daughter-in-law, sleeping with the mother. You understand? Having these kind of relations, these are against what the Most High put. Again, this is order being set in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. And even more so, when you think about it in a logical sense, right? When a man and a woman becomes intimate, it's something that is not normal. Some people just take it as just that, but the amount of connections that they get in that coming together, you understand? I would say it's very intense. You understand? And when a man is violated in that way, by you taking something that is his, you covet something that is his. You understand? 99.9% of the time, what a man wants is blood. Right? Because that's an absolute violation. And these are the things to keep the brotherhood among blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Don't touch one next man. You understand? Get your own. You have enough. You understand? Enough around that you can work and get yours. You understand? So like anything.
Yeah, this one is an act, right? All so-called black Native Indians and Hispanics should know and understand that the white man is the devil, the deceiver, is a trap. Right? When you read them laws here, you should know you shouldn't follow the so-called white man, right? So when you read them kind of laws here, all these things you read in here, a man take a wife and him mother. These is things white people has practice, right? All these things is white culture, right? A man lying with his daughter-in-law, right? The white man trying to set you up to get burned and to get stoned. You understand? He trying to set you up for the law to be against you. We had to learn to understand this. And for the so-called naysayers who talking about this is a white man book and so forth, they had to wake up. If this is a white man book and you so fighting against the white man book, so what you telling me? This is what you want to do? You want to sleep with your daughter? This all right. This is the white man book. You want to sleep with your daughter-in-law? You want to marry that woman and sleep with she mother? You want to lie down with a man? You want to lie down with another man? Since it's a white man book and since they're pushing so hard against the white man book, what is it trying to say? These are the things you want to do. You want to molest? You want to rape? You want to be a homosexual? Nah, it's time to wake up and even pay attention to the words that come out of your mouth, right? They're not making any sense, right? It's time for us to get into the Isupk and learn the truth, right? Because right now society have it poison. As scripture says, hell have enlarged its borders, right? The internet and AI and different things right now is just giving the white man the opportunity to push out more garbage. You understand what I'm saying? And we have to come in the Isupk under Commander General Yohana to push this truth, right, against that lie. You understand what I'm saying? He lies so much that we have to push like the same amount of truth against that lie until the scale tip over. See, right now, the white man being exposed, right, to be the deceiver, the one on the planet that doing all the killing, stealing, and destroying. That is what the earth needs, right? The priests and prophets are pushing the truth, right, out on the earth to expose, right, that the so-called white man, the oppressor, is the devil, the deceiver that the Bible talking about all the time. This devil you've always been hearing about since you're small, talking about a man, talking about a race of people, talking about a bloodline of people that is going to deceive the real Jews, that are going to deceive the blacks, Native Indians, and Hispanics, the ones that's supposed to be in charge of the earth with these laws to run the earth in a righteous way. All these things we read in here will come like courthouse, right? The priests, charges, right, is going to be the court. The government of Christ is going to be like a court, right? It's going to be a government, right, with a court system. And these laws that we read in here is what is going to be used to run the earth. These judgments that we read in here is what is going to be used to judge the earth. The mercy that you're reading about in the scriptures is what is going to be used to exercise on the earth, right? So it's time for us to wake up and understand that the Lord have always have a pathway to bring his people back home, to bring his people back together, to set a government in place so that all can be well. When black people is in charge, all will be well. When the righteous is in authority, the people will rejoice. All right, with that,
with that brings us to the end of the service. Imagine which means to stand. Stop. Stop.
La Yashala, which means Israel.
Stop. Stop.
You know, You take it.
When of Israel, you get up our loins to salute the Torah. So, Yahweh Shem Yeshua Yah.
How about Shem Yashua? Yeah.
We say Madiam, but they have a doubt, not at the peace, salvation to tell. The Lord's prayer in Hebrew. I will now, Shemaiah,
Dash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
How?
Zach, yeah,
Yeah.
Misha,
Ratas.
Wa, yeah,
Yeah.
Shemaiah,
Maya.
Third,
Third.
and a walk,
Now.
come,
Come.
walk,
The ones.
lots,
Lap now.
what,
The what?
what,
Lap now.
what,
What now?
you know,
I know.
I said, walk,
I want.
bob,
Oh.
shine,
Shine.
yeah,
Yeah. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Lap.
I will love you,
On it.
man.
Come on.
In the English, it said, our Father,
Our Father.
which art in heaven,
Thy
hallowed be thy name.
name.
Yahweh,
How?
thy kingdom come,
Come.
thy will be done.
Be done.
It is.
It is.
As it is in heaven.
As in heaven.
Give us this day
Speak.
daily bread,
With bread.
and forgive us
Forgive us.
our debts,
Debts.
as we forgive
As we forgive
our debtors.
our debtors.
Lead us not
Lead us not
into temptation,
into temptation.
but deliver us
Deliver us from evil.
Thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
This will say, Haka, power, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Hashem,
Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Shai,
the thunder now,
now,
Haka,
Ha,
Haka,
Ha,
Allah,
Ha,
Kama Wo,
Wo,
Haka,
Ha,
Lataha,
Ha,
because the right,
Sorry,
Haka,
Ha,
Hakoyim,
Yo,
Hakoyim,
Hathiyam,
Haka,
Ha,
Irakawa,
Irakawa,
Allah,
Allah,
Garashim,
Garashim,
Hashem,
Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Warahman.
Warama.
In the English, Lord,
Lord,
in the name of your
in the name of your
please give us a power,
please give us a power
to heal
over the evil,
all manner of
all manner of disease,
or to cleanse the leper,
over the cleansing
or
leper,
to raise the dead,
to raise the dead,
or against the clean
over
spirit.
against clean
Cast
spirits,
them out.
cast them out.
In the name of your
In the name of your thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
We're going to say, blessed Israel, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Hashem,
Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Shai,
Prophet now,
now,
yes,
Shai,
our Yah,
Yah,
Pari,
Pori,
Rak,
Rak,
Hashem,
Hashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
Warahman.
Warama.
In the English, it said, Lord,
Lord,
in the name of your Shai,
name of your
bless us,
Bless us.
and Israel,
Understood.
in the name of your Shai,
Name of your
thank you.
thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
Say Psalm 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'a,
Asha'a,
Ayanya,
Ayanya,
Almari,
Ayon,
Ayam,
Ayon,
Ba'a, Zari,
Sorry,
Zari,
sorry,
Ayam,
Yo,
Hawa,
How,
Aisha,
Shah,
Ayam,
Yo,
Ratisa,
Ratas,
Ayatan,
Ayatan,
Namawa,
Marat,
Bagal,
God,
Ayam,
Island,
Marka,
Mark,
Na,
Ma,
La'a, and a Wam,
Wam,
Mala'a,
Ah,
Ayasha,
Shah,
Shawama,
Sharama,
Asha'al,
Ah,
Hawa,
How,
Shamar,
Shamar,
Hawa,
How,
Zaka,
Zal,
Aliyah,
Ayah,
Yamyanka,
Yamyamka,
Mama,
Mom,
Ashamash,
Shamash,
La'a,
Ah,
Yaka,
Ka,
Wayabra,
Arat,
Aliyah,
Yal,
Hawa,
How,
Yashamash,
Shamar,
Makara,
Kaira,
Yashamash,
Shama,
Asnash,
Ainashwaka,
Yahweh,
How,
Yashamash,
Shama,
Tazahat,
Ah,
Wabaka,
Ka,
Mata,
Ta,
Ai,
Ai,
Ireland.
Island,
In the English, Psalm 121, I will lift up my eyes
lift up my
unto the hills,
to the hills,
whence cometh my
whence
help,
cometh my help,
help cometh from the
my
Lord,
help cometh from the Lord,
which made heaven and
made
earth.
heaven and earth,
He will not suffer thy foot
he
to
will
be
not
moved.
suffer thy foot to be
He
moved,
that keepeth thee,
that keepeth thee,
not slumber,
not slumber,
behold,
behold,
he that keepeth
that
Israel,
keepeth Israel,
neither slumber nor
neither slumber nor
sleep. Lord
sleep,
is thy
the
keeper,
Lord is thy
Lord is
keeper,
thy shade,
the Lord is thy shade,
upon thy right hand.
upon thy right hand,
The sun
the
shall
sun,
not smite thee by
smite
day,
thee by day,
nor the moon by
nor the
night.
moon by night,
Lord shall
the
preserve
Lord
thee
shall preserve
from
thee
all
from
evil,
all evil,
shall preserve thy
shall
soul.
preserve thy soul,
Lord shall preserve thy going
the Lord
out,
shall preserve thy
and
going coming in,
this time forth,
this time forth,
even.
and even forevermore.
Psalm 83 in the evening.
Alahayim,
Alahayim,
Aldamayalaka,
Aldamalaka,
Altafarak,
Barak,
Alkashapa,
Alkashwa,
Alkayanaha,
Alkanana,
Wayamyaka,
Alka,
Amayawan,
Yom,
Amashanayaka,
Nak,
Nara,
Naru,
Ilamaka,
Ilamaka,
Irayamwa,
Ilamawa,
Samadak,
Sawadak,
Itism,
Daitas,
Altasapuma,
Daitas, One,
Amaru,
Maru,
Lakawa,
Kawa,
Wayamkakadam,
Kankadam,
Magawi,
Gari,
Alaha, Yasakas,
Ka,
Shamya,
Shamasha,
Iwa,
Iwa,
Kaya,
Ya,
Itism,
Daitas,
Laba,
Aba,
Yakaru,
Ka,
Ilaka,
Ka,
Maria,
Ya,
Rafa,
Rash,
Alia,
Hali,
Anawan,
Ram,
Wayashamash,
Mai,
Alia,
Alam,
our Abba,
Wow,
our right,
alright,
Ba,
Ba,
Aimu,
I'm,
Aima,
I'm,
Alisha,
Shah,
I'm your son,
I am a Shah,
that's a war,
as a war,
Gamashu,
Amashu,
Galawa,
Wa,
Aima,
Wow,
Ayawa,
Wow,
Zarawai,
Why,
Abanilawa,
Wa,
Salah,
Salah,
Aishalaham,
I shall have,
Madiam,
Mali,
Siyasara,
Sarah,
Yabia,
Yabia,
Balaka,
Ka,
Yashma,
Wash,
Ashamaru,
Maru,
Wayaham,
Ram,
the Arak,
Ra,
Ayawa,
Wa,
the Man,
Ma,
La Adama,
Dam,
Shayat,
Ram, Famu,
Dayamowa,
Wa,
Iraq,
Ra,
Kazaba,
Sa,
Kazaba,
Sabah,
Waka,
Ba,
Azamanai,
Sanai,
Kana Sayakama,
Sanai,
Ashar,
Shah,
Maru,
Bible,
Ayarasha,
Rash,
Araba,
Wa,
Ah,
Ah,
Wa,
Wa,
Alahayo,
Alahaya,
Alahayo,
Alahaya,
Shayat,
Nam Famu,
Gaga,
Nam Ganga,
Wash,
Wash,
Lapanya,
Tanya,
Waka,
Ka,
Ash,
Ash,
Saba, Saba Iro,
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 Wakala,
Abba,
Salahat,
Sarah,
Harayam,
Yom,
Kanta,
Nam Nam,
Right, Wasa,
Sa,
Pasta,
Pa,
Alahal,
Ala,
Alahal,
Ala,
Panyana,
Yom,
Palawan,
Wa,
Wayakwashwa,
Wash,
Shinka,
Ka,
Yahawa,
How,
Yabashwa,
Bashwa,
Wayabahawa,
Yai,
Wayakaparo,
Power,
Wayabango,
Abba,
Wayadayo,
Dai,
Wayata,
Ata,
Ka,
Ka,
How,
How,
Wabaka,
Bad,
Kaiwan,
Alawa,
Alkaha,
Alaha,
Aratisa.
Aratisa,
In English, Psalm 83. Keep mother silent to
Lord,
Lord.
silent to
Hold
Lord,
on that peace.
who like this,
You are still, O
who
Lord.
not still, O
Or
Lord,
Lord,
or Lord,
thy
my
enemies.
enemies,
Make it to
make
harm.
it to mud,
Say that they
they that heal,
lifted up the head.
lifted up the head,
Taking crafty counsel.
keep crafty
Against
counsel,
thy
against thy
people.
people,
Consulted.
and consult
Against thy people.
against thy
They accept.
they have said,
Come.
come,
Let us cut them off.
and put them off,
Be a nation.
be in a nation,
The name of
the
Israel.
name of Israel,
No one remember.
no one
They
remember,
have consulted
they
together.
have consulted
One
together,
consent.
one consent,
Against
confederate against
some of them Edom.
and some Edom,
One Ishmael.
and the Ishmaelites,
Moab.
Moab,
And the Hagarenes.
Hagarenes,
Ibal.
Baal,
And Ammon.
and Ammon,
And Ammon.
Ammon,
And the Philistines.
the
The
Steves,
inhabitants of Tyre.
Having some time in Assyria,
So to join
so
with
also
them.
join with them,
The whole
a whole part,
children of God.
children of love,
Salah.
Salah,
You wanted them.
you wanted it,
As unto the million.
as unto the media,
As Syria.
to Syria,
As to Jabin.
to Jabin,
And the brook of his
spoke
soul.
of his son,
Which perished at
perish at the
end.
end,
Became down for the
came
earth.
us down for the
Make
earth,
them nobles.
make them nobles, Horeb,
Like Z.
Z,
Yea.
Ye,
All your princes.
all your princes,
Sabah.
Sabah,
And Absolute.
Absolute,
Who said.
said,
Stay to
speak
ourselves.
to ourselves,
Houses of God.
house of
In
the possession,
Oh my God.
oh my,
Make them like a weed.
like a weed,
As the stuff before
stubble
the
before the wind,
as a fire made
the
it
fire burned the wood,
as a flame.
as a
Set
flame,
the mountains on
the
fire.
fighters and fire,
So persecuted.
executed,
With thy tempest.
thy tempest,
Make them afraid.
make them afraid,
Like storm.
like storm,
Fill their faces with
fill
shame.
their faces with
You
shame,
will see thy name, O Lord.
seek thy name,
Let
O
them be confounded.
Lord, confound
Forever.
them forever,
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame.
put the shame,
And perish.
and perish,
And they know.
then we know,
that thou,
and thou,
whose name alone is your
him
power.
alone is your house,
Most high.
most high,
Over all the
all youth,
When I said the ISUP curses. Blessed is your house,
blessed are your house,
King of heaven and
King of
earth.
heaven and earth,
All things living.
all things living,
How?
how,
In the name of
the
Yahushua.
name of Yahushua,
Listen to us now.
listen to us now,
Right now. Evils and
evils
curses.
and
And
curses,
punishment and destruction.
punishment and
To
destruction,
the heathen.
to the
And
heathen,
speak against
speak against
thy
us,
prophet,
prophet,
the teacher,
teacher,
the princes,
the princes,
the priests,
the priests,
Israelite
the
brothers,
Israelite brothers,
and the school.
and the school,
The evils and
evils
curses.
and curses,
And punishment and destruction.
punishment and destruction, to the heathen,
And shake loose.
and shake loose
The treasure.
the treasure,
The rich of
the
Israel.
rich of Israel,
Refuse to give to the
refuse
school.
to give to us,
Was their riches.
was their riches,
Listen to thy sacrifice.
enter into thy sanctuary,
Evils and curses.
evil and curses,
Punishment and destruction.
punishment and destruction,
Heathen.
Edom,
And the nation.
the nation,
And their drug
and
dealers.
the drug
The
dealers,
court system.
court
The
system,
prison system.
prison system,
Planned Parenthood.
land prayer,
All the governments of
all the
all
government of it,
the next to the Muslim
and
army.
next to that goes on,
Catholic Church.
Catholic Church, Pope,
Islam.
Islam,
Christianity.
Christianity,
Theology.
Theology,
Militia.
militia, Islam,
Aryan.
Aryan nation,
Skinheads.
skinheads, Matas,
Gay
gay movement,
Lesbian.
lesbian,
Spy.
spy,
Witchcraft.
as a witchcraft, as a spora, Army,
Navy,
Navy, Air Force,
Marines,
Wall Street,
open up the internet,
open up the internet,
and
and the
people access channel,
channel,
and the radio channel,
and the radio channel.
fix the spread,
Pick the spring,
many of that people,
many of that
to stop us,
stop
bring
us,
destruction,
from destruction,
all the evil,
all they need
stand in the way,
stand in the
or
way,
trying to stop
or
us,
try to stop us,
casting your words,
casting your
or
words,
trying to pray,
on the planet,
like to do smaller plagues,
all the plagues,
all the go through
the one true and true, you consume
that
them,
the plagues,
plagues,
the house of the thief,
the house of the
and
king,
the
the murder,
Abasha,
Abasha,
Micah,
Micah,
Gabriel,
Gabriel,
down with the flying
down with
saucer,
the flying
or
saucer,
the sword in evil,
and surely you
come up against,
come up against
that is speak that
will
will
speak that will
be known by
be
all.
known by all.
The angel that
The angel that have
is spread through the media,
spread to the
for all
people,
the whole
the whole world,
because of the shit that
shake and
in the name of your shine.
name of the ocean.
Thank you.
Thank you. So be it.
Psalm 22. Well, this concludes today's Sabbath service. We're going to give one courtesy salute. One. We'll give one courtesy salute. I'm going to spot. Majum, rap.
How about Shemi or Shaibrakta?
That concludes today's Sabbath service.